What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lexi. Thank you for joining. I'll put my Instagram up above. If you are not new here, well, thank you for returning. So you guys are going to be so happy because for so long, so many of you guys have been asking me to film my workouts, and I've explained in past videos, like it's always hard for me to film my workouts because I usually go to the gym at a pretty busy time, so I can't be like setting up my camera without getting in people's way, and like I've done that before and people like walk past the camera, and it's a debacle. Plus my workouts are like my me time, right? And I don't want to have to think about recording every set. However, I've got a leg workout for you guys. So you are going to be excited or be proud of me that I filmed a whole leg workout. So that is going to be the next thing you see in this video. I'm going to do a voiceover for it. So basically this workout, this leg workout is a pretty standard leg workout for me. And I'm going to kind of walk you guys through the science behind it as well, because I'm really just big on explaining like why I'm doing what I'm doing. So you guys are going to see that in the next clip. But I thought this would also be a perfect time to show you guys what my go-to pre-workout meal has been. So I get asked a lot what you should eat before you work out, and typically I recommend quicker digesting carb source, depending on how quick or how close to your workout you're eating your pre-workout meal. Like if you're eating within an hour of your workout, you're gonna want something that's gonna digest a little bit quicker, right? And not sit in your stomach. If you're eating your pre-workout meal like 2 hours before you work out, you can get by with eating something that's a little bit slower to digest. But personally, for me, I eat about an hour before I work out, so I have been doing oat bran, which is like ground up oats. It digests a little bit quicker than oatmeal, so I've been doing oat bran, and then I cook it, and then you guys probably saw this in my last video, I add in some Greek yogurt to make it like a little chilled, like oat kind of concoction. Again, oat bran digests a lot quicker than oatmeal, that's why I like it, but I have carbs, quicker digesting carbs, and I have a little bit of protein from the Greek yogurt. So this Greek yogurt, I think, has like 11 grams of protein. So typically I like to do some carbs and a little bit of protein just to keep me full but not overly full. And then the carbs definitely help to give me my energy during my workout. One thing I will note too is sometimes, as silly as this sounds or as weird as this may sound, I'll add salt to my, like on top, because a little bit of extra sodium in my pre-workout meal tends to help with like blood volume and blood flow, which helps to get me a pump a little bit better when I work out. So just a little note on that. But welcome to the video, you guys. You are going to see a workout in the next clip. So again, this is a standard leg workout for me, so enjoy that clip. Hey guys, so I'm going to walk you guys through my leg workout. So I started with hip thrusts on the Booty Builder machine, and I actually really liked this specific machine because the range of motion was great and I felt a little bit more glute isolation. So I isolated my glutes on the first movement of this workout, and from there on out, they were firing practically the whole workout. So then I moved on to the hack squat. So this was my squatting motion of the workout. Started with a hip hinge movement being the glute or the hip thrust, and then I moved on to a squatting variation doing this hack squat, and I really like this hack squat. I worked my way up to get pretty heavy on this. I always start with like a set of 15 to warm up, and then I gradually progress with weight each set, and I worked my way up to about, I think, a set of 6 to 7. So pretty low reps, pretty high weight, but that's what I need in this improvement season to really build adequate muscle tissue. So then moving on, I moved straight into dumbbell RDLs. So this was my hip hinge movement of the workout. Again, same concept as the hack squat. I start with a little bit higher reps and lighter weight, and then each set I increase weight and decrease reps. So I think I worked up to a rep scheme of like 6 on my last set here, so I ended up getting pretty heavy. And then after this, you'll see that the movement I moved on to was my last kind of compound movement of the lift, so to say, and I did Bulgarian split squats. I specifically like to just hold one dumbbell at my side and do these. That is how I perform them best, but you can definitely hold 2 dumbbells if you like, but I really focused on driving through my heel to activate my glute, and I really feel a lot of good glute recruitment when I personally do these this way with holding the one dumbbell. So then after after that, I moved on to seated abductions as an abductor movement for the workout. For this particular set, and I think you'll see it, I think I filmed long enough for you to see it, I did one set of really heavy weight, so I think I did about 10 reps really heavy, and then immediately after that, I dropped the weight in half, so this is called a drop set, and I did a burnout set of like 15 to 20 reps. Right here you can see I'm lessening the weight, and then I'm going to go straight into kind of a burnout set, or what I like to call a drop set, just a way to kind of increase intensity, burnout, and fatigue the muscle towards the end of the workout. And then the next exercise that I went into was glute ham raises. So this particular exercise, these are harder. As you're gonna see, I really didn't bend my legs too much when I came up because I was trying to emphasize as much glute and hamstring recruitment as possible, specifically glute recruitment. And then of course somebody accidentally walked in front of the camera, but you know, no biggie. So I did do these. If you have a machine like this at your gym, highly recommend utilizing it. I think these are really hard, but great exercise to incorporate for glute growth and hamstring growth as an accessory movement. And then lastly, we can't forget about the calves. I usually like to do calves like once or twice a week. I'll throw in a set of weighted calf raises, usually at the very end of my leg day. So that was my total leg workout. So I'm going to explain it a little bit more in depth in a sit-down clip after this, but I hope you guys enjoyed the workout footage, and stay tuned for a full explanation after this. What is up, my friends? So as promised, I was going to sit down and explain my workout a little bit more in depth. I also want to use this time to really explain to you guys my training approach right now for my own self, and how I have structured that based upon my feedback that I received at my last show, which was in August 2021. So a little backtracking, I competed 3 times last year in 2021. I'm coming up on a year post show right now. So therefore I have taken this whole year to just have the intent of building. Now, my feedback from my last show specifically was that I needed to build my upper body, but more so just add a little bit of size everywhere. But my specific feedback was add more shoulders and add more back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post my stage shots up here so you can just kind of use those for reference. I'll post my front shot and my back shot. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to post my most recent progress pictures compared to when I was deep into prep, so you can kind of see the comparison and see my growth there. So with that feedback, you know, I got feedback from the judges, which if you are a competitor, very important to do that, is that really sets you up for what your goal needs to be in improvement season to come back on stage fulfilling those improvements and looking better. But taking my feedback that I needed to grow my upper body, specifically my shoulders, specifically my back, and you know, also just to clarify, you guys may be wondering, why did they say to grow your back if bikini is not really judged like on back? And the reason is, yes, I am a bikini girl and they don't necessarily judge our back. However, you have to think about it this way. If I have a very small back, it's going to make my upper body look smaller, right? Bikini is all about balance. So the wider a back I have, the more proportional my upper body will look to my lower body. And unfortunately, the issue I have as a competitor is I have to get very small in my upper body to get that glute conditioning that they want on stage, the glute hamstring tie-in. And I think a lot of females run into this issue where they have to get very, very small up top to notice glute definition. I lean out pretty quickly in my upper body, but then it was like, in order to, like, my upper body was lean enough, but my lower body wasn't. So in order to get my lower body leaner, unfortunately, some size came off of my top half as well. So that's why I really went into this improvement season with the emphasis of I need to grow my shoulders, I need to grow my back, and then I also need to really grow my glutes, because at the end of the day, the more muscle you have on a body part, typically the more, the easier it's gonna be to lean that body part out and to notice visual muscle definition, right? The more you add to that base layer, the less you're gonna you're not gonna have to dig as deep to notice muscle definition and pop, right? So I'm really focusing on adding size to my shoulders, my back, and my glutes right now. So how I am approaching my training is that right now, I have 2 strict like lower body days. So you guys just saw one of my lower body days. As you can see, I'm not doing any direct quad work. That is something that I personally stay away from. My quads grow very easily. And plus in bikini, quads are not something that I need to be overpowering, right? I am getting indirect quad recruitment from like the exercises like the hack squat, Bulgarian split squats, right? So it's not like I'm completely neglecting the muscle. I'm just not isolating them. So I'm really focusing on having 2 heavy leg days, as you guys just saw one of those. Really focusing on those leg days. I like to start with a few like 3 to 4 heavier, more compound lifts. So you guys saw that in that workout. You saw I did hip thrusts, hack squat, Bulgarians, and RDLs. Those were my main kind of big movements of the workout. So I spent the majority of my time on those, and then you'll see that I had like 3 accessory movements towards the end. So that's really how I structure a lot of my workouts, whether it's an upper body workout or a lower body workout. So same with like shoulder workouts, for example. I'll probably start with, you know, seated shoulder press, where I'm spending a good majority of my time on that. It's a compound movement. I'm really working to a low rep scheme. So that's another thing I always work. Recently I've been working to lower rep schemes just to really push my intensity weight wise, really work up to heavy weight. And sometimes when I lift that heavy weight, I'm not able to have as many reps in the tank lifting that heavier weight. So I have 2 lower body days, and then I have 1 full back day. So I have a back and biceps day. I have 1 day dedicated to shoulders. And then I have a glutes and an arms day where I'm doing a little bit of glute glute accessory work, and then I'm also doing a little bit more back and a little bit more shoulders. So I'm really hitting almost every muscle group like 3 times per week, but giving me 2 full rest days. I think that is important to mention, that especially when you are in a season of wanting to build muscle, you cannot be overtraining. If you are not taking adequate rest, you are not going to be optimizing your body's ability to put on muscle. Because although it sounds counterintuitive, where you put on the muscle, where your muscles build back stronger is when you're resting, right? So when you're in the gym, you're tearing down the muscle fibers. When you're resting, that's when they're building themselves back up. So I've been taking my rest very seriously as well. But I like to stick with the same training block. Also, disclaimer, I do write my own training. I do have a coach, however, I write my own training because I generally do like writing my own training. But I generally will stick with a training block, so the same workouts for at least, for me, 8 weeks. Because I like to keep a notes section in my phone and really document the weight I'm lifting each week on each of these movements. So like the workout you guys just saw, for example, let's say I was hack squatting with 50 pounds on each side. Well, then the next week I'm gonna try to add on a little bit of weight. Maybe I'll add on 5 pounds to each side or 10 pounds to each side. So it's all about that progressive overload principle. So personally, I like to stick with my training, my workouts, the training block for about 8 weeks at a time. Then I'll change things up a little bit. But one last thing I do want to mention is, like I said, I do have 2 lower body days. I have a back day, I have a shoulder day, and then I have 1 day that's glute accessory work and a little bit more shoulders, a little bit more back. I really have focused on activation as well. So for me, my glutes and my back, so the lats, are a little bit harder for me to actually activate. So I make sure that when I do start each exercise that I usually warm up with a lighter weight, so I can strictly just take a set to warm up the muscle and activate the muscle, right? If you just jump right into the heaviest weight you're gonna work up to, you're probably not gonna feel like your muscles are actually being activated, right? And I think that is important, that when you're doing the exercise, you should actually actively feel that muscle that you're trying to recruit being activated. Otherwise, you may have other synergistic muscles taking over. For me, a really big one is my quads. If I I don't take the time to warm up and activate my glutes, my quads want to do all the work, and my hamstrings want to do all the work, and my glutes don't ever want to, you know, shut on, turn on. Same concept with my back. If I don't take the time to kind of warm up my back with lighter weight, my arms want to take over and my lats don't even want to activate. So I do think activation is really important. But that is my specific training split. You guys have been asking to see a workout for a long time now, so I hope you enjoyed that workout footage. I do plan on doing this more frequently, so I'll probably next either post my back workout or my shoulder workout. So if you guys have a preference, comment below. But if you have watched this video and enjoyed it, thank you so much. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Please share this video if you enjoyed it. It does really help with the growth of this channel. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.